The Qatar Grand Prix may have looked like an exciting race from the outside, but behind the scenes, it was a complete mess, one that was set in motion by the FIA. Race director Rui Marquez became the center of attention with his decisions, or lack of them, that threw the Constructors' Championship race into chaos. What should have been a routine race became a turning point, handing Ferrari an unexpected and somewhat controversial boost. This incident has raised some serious questions about the fairness and integrity of the FIA's leadership. Could this be the start of a situation that mirrors what happened with Michael Massi's exit from the FIA? Let's break it down. The drama kicked off during lap 29 when Alexander Albon's wing mirror went rogue, flying off and landing on the track right in front of the finish line. At that moment, McLaren was looking in prime position to extend their lead in the constructors' standings. Lando Norris was comfortably sitting in second, just behind Max Verstappen, and Oscar Piastri was in third, with a healthy gap ahead of Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz was also in a decent position, while George Russell had already been eliminated from contention after a disastrous pit stop. McLaren was poised to collect 33 points, while Ferrari was set to score just 22, which would have brought McLaren dangerously close to their first constructors' title since 1998. But then, the FIA stepped in, or rather, they didn't. Although yellow flags were waved for Albon's wing mirror, there was no immediate safety car deployment. This was a huge turning point. Norris, caught up in the confusion, failed to slow down in time and ended up with a severe penalty. The FIA's failure to act quickly and deploy the safety car caused a chain reaction that completely altered the race. Valtteri Bottas, following the blue flags, accidentally struck the debris, sending shards of carbon fiber flying across the track. The danger wasn't just a minor concern, it put drivers like Sainz and Lewis Hamilton at risk of punctures. Instead of prioritizing safety, race control seemed to let the chaos unfold. McLaren, believing a safety car was imminent, brought Piastri in for a strategic pit stop. But that safety car didn't come until lap 35, long after Sainz and Hamilton had limped to the pits. This delay proved disastrous for McLaren, as their rivals took full advantage of the neutralized conditions to make their stops. The delay in the safety car allowed Ferrari to make the most of the situation. Sainz and Hamilton, both suffering from punctures, were left to recover the best they could, with Sainz finishing in a disappointing 6th place, unable to challenge the straight-line speed of Pierre Gasly's Alpine. Hamilton, too, saw his race ruined by the puncture, losing critical time. Meanwhile, Norris, though visibly frustrated, managed to salvage a single point, even snatching the fastest lap. Piastri, despite putting up a solid fight, couldn't reclaim second place and had to settle for third. For McLaren, what should have been a glorious chance to extend their lead in the constructors' standings turned into a lost opportunity. Ferrari, thanks to their strong 1-2 finish in the sprint, managed to claw back 9 points. McLaren's overall loss was a mere 3 points, but the impact on the championship battle was immense. Team principal Andrea Stella didn't hold back in his post-race comments, both praising the team's effort and criticizing the FIA for mishandling the race. Stella emphasized the strong performance of McLaren's car and how they were in contention for victory, despite the misfortune. Oscar drove a solid race, but the timing of the safety car really hurt him, Stella said, referring to how Piastri lost track position. He acknowledged that sometimes luck just isn't on your side in racing. Lando's drive, especially his recovery after receiving a penalty, was impressive, but it wasn't enough for a victory. The team had hoped for more, but with the FIA's decisions, they were left to accept the result. Stella pointed out the need for a more balanced approach when it comes to penalties, noting how harshly Norris was punished for a yellow flag incident. The race wasn't ideal, but McLaren still had a strong car, and they would continue pushing forward. Stella also mentioned that the FIA should consider the severity of infractions before handing out penalties. The rules are the rules, but there needs to be fairness, he said. He urged the governing body to apply penalties proportionately, ensuring they align with the seriousness of the breach. It wasn't just about the yellow flags or the safety car delay, it was about making sure every decision was fair and justifiable. We need to make sure that penalties are not just about following the letter of the law, but about making the right call, Stella added. He made it clear that McLaren's goal was to keep fighting until the end, with Abu Dhabi as the next focus, and they would stay united and determined to finish strong. The FIA's inconsistent decision-making has raised concerns across the board. While they enforce some rules immediately, like Norris's harsh penalty, they take far longer to act when safety is at risk. This contradiction has left many questioning whether the FIA is putting the right priorities first. The decision not to deploy the safety car earlier wasn't just an oversight, it was a dangerous lapse in judgment that affected the outcome of the race. Ferrari, now back in the hunt for the Constructors' Championship, heads into Abu Dhabi with renewed hope, just 21 points behind McLaren. For McLaren, however, every race now carries extra weight. The slightest mistake could cost them the title, and the FIA's decisions could make all the difference in the final stretch of the season. Norris and Piastri will enter Abu Dhabi determined to leave the chaos of Qatar behind them. Norris, in particular, had a tough time accepting his penalty, especially considering the timing of the yellow flags. His comeback to finish in 10th place was commendable, but it wasn't enough to secure the title. Piastri, despite a solid performance, found himself on the wrong side of strategy. Both drivers know that every move will matter in Abu Dhabi, and mistakes must be minimized. The lessons learned from Qatar will play a crucial role in shaping their approach for the final race. The controversy surrounding the FIA's handling of the Qatar Grand Prix isn't just about the race, it's part of a larger issue. Rui Marquez and his team have faced intense criticism from drivers, teams, and fans alike for their inconsistent and indecisive decisions. The late safety car deployment and Norris's penalty only highlighted the bigger problem of how the FIA is running the sport. If Formula One is to maintain its credibility and fairness, the FIA must address these issues head-on. There's a growing sense that the organization's handling of the sport is becoming less about fair play and more about hasty, often flawed decision-making. As Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff put it, the FIA situation is becoming more like a reality TV show than a sports governing body. Personnel changes, including the sudden departure of F1 race director Neil Massi before the Las Vegas Grand Prix, have raised eyebrows. This shift, combined with the controversial decisions in Qatar, has left many wondering if the FIA is losing control. Wolff humorously remarked that the current FIA situation could have its own reality show, but the reality behind the humor is far more serious. The FIA is under increasing pressure to bring stability, transparency, and accountability back to the sport. The FIA's challenges don't stop there. The public clash with F1 drivers, who penned an open letter demanding greater transparency, has only added fuel to the fire. FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem's dismissive response to their concerns, suggesting his governance style was none of their business, only deepened the divide. Wolff, on the other hand, praised the unity of the drivers, framing it as an essential step in protecting the integrity of the sport. "We need to protect Formula One, but we can't do it if the people running the show are acting irresponsibly," he stressed. The need for accountability and responsible leadership has never been more apparent. With tensions running high and no clear resolution in sight, the FIA's leadership is facing intense scrutiny. Teams, drivers, and fans alike are questioning the direction the sport is heading. Whether this chapter will lead to meaningful reform or more discord is uncertain. As the season finale approaches, one thing is clear: the decisions made in Abu Dhabi could once again have a monumental impact on the championship. For McLaren, Ferrari, and the entire Formula One community, it's a make-or-break moment. The hope is that the final race will bring a thrilling and fair conclusion to what has already been an unforgettable season. And that's a wrap for today's breakdown of the Qatar Grand Prix Prix drama. What do you think about the FIA's decisions during the race? Were they fair, or did they throw a wrench into the championship battle? The controversy surrounding the safety car delay, Norris's penalty, and Ferrari's surprising surge has left us all wondering, can McLaren still clinch that constructor's title? Or will Ferrari capitalize on this turn of events? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Your insights are always interesting to read, and I love hearing what you think about the latest F1 controversies. Also, if you enjoyed this analysis and want to stay updated with all the exciting news and in-depth coverage on Formula One, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss out on future videos as we get closer to the finale and see who comes out on top in the championship race. Remember, this season isn't over yet, and there's plenty more action to come, especially with the Abu Dhabi GP on the horizon. Until next time, keep the conversation going, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.